Global Fight League made an announcement. Now, this has been talked about for a while, right? This is the new player in town. They dropped on us last week. If you just base it on star power, we should be tickled to death. Only this isn't 2010, unfortunately, and we've already kind of done Legends fights in the past. So it's our job to cover this, and we will, but let's get a reaction from the panel. Back to the MMA media titan. Mike, what were your thoughts on GFL and the bomb they dropped on us this week?
I don't know. I'm still kind of digesting it. I wonder how much of this is actually going to come to fruition, right? And we've seen the team format with the IFL before. This all just feels like kind of a replay of, something that's happened 10 plus years ago in the sport. So we'll see what they can do. Man, like, I don't know, some of the names on here, I get it. If you put them all in a bunch, like, it looks somewhat appealing, but man, guys like Husamar Palhares is like 48 years old. You got a bunch of fighters much closer to 50 than they are even 40 at this point. And it's like, it almost feels like that early stage of Bellator where they were trotting Tito Ortiz and things like that out there, but like almost even worse because these guys are older than any one of them were. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this plays out, how the draft goes, who they really get involved, who actually fights and gets medically cleared, all this stuff. But meh.
Is there room for a third promotion? What were your thoughts on the team-based format, Danny?
I want to see more promotions. I have hated the way PFL has ran things with Bellator this year. So, like, if you get another player in there that's willing to drop big bucks and fill in some slots and give fighters other opportunities, I'm all for it. All the best of luck to GFL. By the way, just quick comment there. Somebody in the chat said, and I want to give proper credit here because this was hilarious. Brian John, Grandpa Fight League. That's pretty funny, right? But no, I mean, all the best. I do like the roster. People that have been following me for some time know that, like, I am all for the Legends divisions, and I do think there's a spot for that. And I do think there's a lot of fighters out there that can sort of maintain a good level even at a late stage. What I do hate is the team format. What are we doing? Use these stars to build other stars so that are younger that you can then promote. Yeah, I absolutely hate the team format. Again, we'll see how it I have so many sports that I keep up with, like points, all that. Just give me the whole matchmaking. It's a lot easier. This guy wins, this other guy doesn't. It's that simple. So yeah, we'll see how it all unfolds. But the names do look promising. There's some names I like on there.
They signed 45, at least that we've heard of. Who was their best signing? Who are you most excited about that might work out in terms of helping build the league, but also they still have some gas left in the tank?
I'm curious to see where Gegard Mousasi is now. I'd like to see him fight again. Things weren't working out for him. He bailed over there at PFL, but I'd like to see him compete. But I just don't understand what we're going to get out of this, right? The team format, like Danny said, doesn't make sense. We saw that with the IFL. The only way I ever see anything team related work out is if they were to do like gyms as teams versus, regions or whatever. I'm not too interested in that.
I hear you, man. They almost went at it in that sauna over there at what was it? The
ATT Black Zillions.
ATT and the Black Zillions, yeah. I think it was Michael Johnson and Tyrone Spong holding it down. That's what they said. I don't know. Mike, who were you most excited about for this GFL? The announcement that was made of these 45 fighters.
I don't know if I was necessarily excited for anyone per se, but I guess someone that maybe caught me off guard that I'm curious to see what they do with was Alexander Gustafsson, just because I feel like he's retired multiple times. It sounds like he specifically asked for a UFC release so he could sign with these guys. So kind of curious just to see where his head and everything is at physically, mentally. And again, depends on the matchmaking, right? Like there is some fights you could do here that would have some appeal, similar age range, things like that. But I'm curious, like this isn't the full roster. I would imagine there is going to be a mix of maybe some less heralded talent. And are those guys just going to feast off the older fighters? Are they even going to go with the matchmaking wise? So we'll see how this whole thing shakes out. What's our draft coverage going to be, boys? Are we doing like a mock draft? Is there going to be a combine? What are we doing here for the inaugural GFL draft?
They did a combine for Power Slap. I'm sure they'll come up with something. How about you, Danny? What are your thoughts?
I think the one I like here is Junior Dos Santos. I do feel like that losing streak that got him out of the UFC was extremely deceiving, and And then I saw him live against Jordan de Castro, which he suffered a shoulder injury, but before that he was looking great. Then he fights Fabrizio Verdun bare knuckle. I thought he looked great as well. Plus, he said, and this I'm not breaking any news here, he said he's on very good supplements now that he's out of the UFC and out of that system that involves a lot of drug testing and whatnot. His words, not mine. And I think he looks great. I think Junior Dos Santos is one of those legend names that you can actually get quality MMA out of. And if I'm not mistaken, in his last fight, he won the was it the BKFC or the game bred bare knuckle like title. Like I think you can get a lot out of him. So curious to see how he looks.
That's one way I think GFL could maybe excite us, is bare knuckle MMA or something. That is kind of exciting, to tell you the truth. The whole supplement game, wow, that's a whole other conversation. And I guess I'm most excited about Kevin Lee, only because he's a local guy, and I think he's got youth at least to try and get.
You're saying local guy for me or you?
Well, he was at the time starting in Vegas, so we got to know him pretty good. He actually would insist on co-hosting a 2-hour show. But he's not 45, 48, he's like early 30s, I think. So we'll see what he might have left. I know he also wanted to get back to the UFC, so he must have got that door shut to him for now, but he signed with these guys.